1976 was an impressive year for music. It was a time when disco was heating up, rock was electrifying the airwaves, and pop songs were so catchy they lingered in our heads long after the radio was turned off. There's no denying that the songs from 1976 set the soundtrack for a generation. In this video, we're taking a look at the top 15 songs from 1976 we will never forget. Number 15, December 1963, Oh What a Night, The Four Seasons. We kick things off with a track that has all the energy of a time machine, transporting us to a romanticized past. December 1963, Oh What a Night was originally written and released in 1975, but it didn't truly take off until 1976, when it became one of the Four Seasons' most iconic songs. This track brought back the magic of the 1960s, but with a fresh disco-influenced twist. The song's upbeat, catchy rhythm and unforgettable chorus make it almost impossible to resist singing along to, especially when those harmonies hit. Oh, what a night. But it wasn't just the music that struck a chord. It was the way the lyrics captured a moment of youthful romance, a perfect blend of nostalgia and energy. The story goes that the Four Seasons were reflecting on their past in the 1960s when they wrote the lyrics, which explains the mix of reverence for the past and joy in the present. The song's catchy rhythm helped it reach the top of the charts, eventually becoming a staple of 1970s pop. One of the fascinating things about Oh What a Night is how its success represents the changing soundscape of the mid-70s. The Four Seasons were making a return to the limelight, and their blend of nostalgic themes with modern disco beats was exactly what people needed at the time. It's a song that perfectly blends the past and present, leaving a phenomenal mark on pop culture. Speaking of blending genres, next up is a truly innovative track that fused classical music with disco. Number 14, A Fifth of Beethoven, Walter Murphy. Talk about blending the unblended. In 1976, Walter Murphy took Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, a piece of music that's almost as iconic as it gets, and gave it a disco makeover. The result? A Fifth of Beethoven, a track that became an instant hit and took the world by surprise. Murphy's brilliance was in the arrangement. He took the dramatic, timeless theme from Beethoven's Symphony No. 5 and laid it over funky bass lines, a steady disco beat, and a catchy rhythm that made it danceable for the masses. It was high culture meeting pop culture head-on. The juxtaposition of a classical masterpiece with the upbeat energy of disco was both shocking and incredibly exciting for music lovers. Not only did this track climb to number 1 on the charts, but it was also part of a larger trend of 1970s artists merging classical music with popular genres, making it more accessible to younger generations. The song became so iconic that it was even featured in films and TV shows. While disco might have been the star, A Fifth of Beethoven is a perfect example of how music's classical roots were being remixed to fit the energy of the times. But if you're looking for something that crosses even more boundaries, our next entry perfectly captures the cross-genre spirit of the 70s. Number 13, Play That Funky Music, Wild Cherry. Play That Funky Music was the track that made Wild Cherry a household name, and for good reason. This song is so infectious, it practically demands to be played every time you walk into a party. Released in 1976, it became a trailblazing moment in music. It was the first major hit to blend rock and funk in such a powerful way, making it an instant favorite for fans of both genres. The song's hypnotic bass line, funky rhythm, and catchy chorus made it an irresistible jam. But what made it truly special was how it transcended musical boundaries. For the longest time, rock and funk existed in parallel universes, with rockers in one camp and funk lovers in another. Wild Cherry made it possible for both to dance to the same beat, uniting fans of both genres. A fun fact that you probably didn't know is that the line "Play That Funky Music, White Boy" was actually written as a challenge to the norm. It was a nod to the blending of races and musical styles, a perfect reflection of the time's cultural shifts. The track topped the charts and still stands as one of the most iconic dance hits of the 70s. Wild Cherry managed to create a song that was as much as a groove anthem as it was a cultural moment. Next up, we're taking a look at a delightful, carefree pop classic that took over the airwaves in '76. Number 12, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Elton John and Kiki D. The ultimate pop duet, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, was one of those songs that had everyone singing along, regardless of age. Released in 1976, it marked a joyous celebration between the legendary Elton John and the relatively unknown, at the time, Kiki D. The duo's chemistry was instant, with their voices complementing each other in the most delightful way. What's fascinating about this track is how it broke boundaries in pop music. Elton, already a major star at the time, teamed up with Kiki D to create something completely different. Light, breezy, full of charm. While most of Elton's music had a deeper, more dramatic tone, Don't Go Breaking My Heart was playful and fun. It wasn't just a song, it was an invitation to dance and have some fun. A fun fact about this song is that it was recorded in just one take. It became an instant hit, reaching #1 on the charts and remaining there for several weeks. The song's playful lyrics, Don't Go Breaking My Heart, I Couldn't If I Tried, are still sung with the same joy today. Number 11, If You Leave Me Now, Chicago. Chicago was known for its rock influences and signature brass sections, but If You Leave Me Now was a shift towards something more heartfelt and melodic. Released in 1976, this ballad became one of the band's biggest hits and was proof that Chicago could master any genre, rock, jazz, or soft pop. The song is a slow, emotional ballad about heartbreak, sung with such passion that you can't help but feel every word. The lush strings, soft piano, and gentle brass all combined to create a haunting, beautiful atmosphere. The song was a departure from the band's usual high-energy rock anthems, showing their softer side. It struck a chord with listeners, and If You Leave Me Now became Chicago's first #1 hit in the US. But what truly made the song stand out was its emotional depth. The pleading, vulnerable lyrics about love and loss captured the universal experience of heartbreak. It's the kind of song that makes you close your eyes and remember those moments of emotional intensity. With our emotions in full swing, let's move on to another song that'll make you want to get up and groove. Number 10, I Write the Songs, Barry Manilow. I've been alive forever. Barry Manilow's I Write the Songs is an anthem for the songwriter's soul, and it struck a chord with music lovers in 1976. This song was a departure from the typical love ballads Manilow was known for. It was an ode to the power of songwriting itself, with Manilow positioning himself as the one who writes the music that stays in people's hearts. While it released in 1975, it became a defining track for Manilow in 1976, becoming his first #1 hit in the US. The song is filled with emotion and reflection, with lyrics that celebrate the art of songwriting and the influence music can have on lives. You know it's something special when the chorus hits, I write the songs that make the whole world sing. Did you know the song was written by Bruce Johnston of the Beach Boys, not Manilow himself? Barry's rendition of the track gave it the perfect heartfelt touch, making it a beloved classic. The song became so popular that even today it's impossible to listen to it and not think of all the iconic songs that came out of the 70s. Number 9, It Make Me Feel Like Dancing, Leo Sayer. You got the better of me. Here's a track that combines smooth funk, disco rhythms, and pure joy. You Make Me Feel Like Dancing by Leo Sayer was released in 1976 and became an instant hit, capturing the upbeat, feel-good spirit of the disco era. The song's infectious energy, catchy melody, and Sayer's powerful falsetto made it a favorite on dance floors across the world. What sets this song apart is how it blends funky groove with soul and pop sensibility. The brass section, pure magic. The syncopated beats, irresistible. And those soaring vocals, unforgettable. The song had everything you needed to hit the dance floor, and it became Sayer's biggest hit in the US, topping the charts. It's one of those tracks that feels timeless, making you want to get up, move, and dance every time it plays. This track's success wasn't just about its catchiness, it also captured a moment in music history. Disco was on the rise, and songs like You Make Me Feel Like Dancing were at the forefront of a cultural shift. It's a perfect example of how the disco movement transformed the music industry in the late 70s. Number 8, Lowdown, Boz Scaggs.
talking out loud.
It's impossible to think about 1976 without hearing the smooth grooves of Boz Scaggs' Low Down echoing through your mind. This song didn't just define the year, it elevated it. With its jazzy rhythm, funky bass line, and Scaggs' soulful delivery, Low Down was a breath of fresh air in an era dominated by disco and rock. But what made it so unique? First, its sheer versatility. It wasn't just a song, it was a vibe. You could find it on the dance floors, on car radios, and even as background music for quiet, reflective evenings. The track's blend of jazz, R&B, and pop was groundbreaking at the time, earning it a Grammy for Best R&B Song in 1977. Yes, it won the following year, proving its lasting impact. Low Down was an invitation to a sophisticated world of silky vocals and unmatched coolness. It captured the essence of the mid-70s when music wasn't afraid to experiment and defy boundaries. Number 7. If I Had a Hammer, Trini Lopez. Trini Lopez's If I Had a Hammer is an iconic song that captures the spirit of activism and social change. Originally recorded in 1963, the 1976 revival brought the song back into the spotlight during a time when the world was dealing with social and political unrest. The powerful lyrics and uplifting melody made it a rallying cry for hope and solidarity, especially among young listeners. The song's message of justice and peace resonated deeply in 1976, a year that was filled with social turbulence. The anthem of unity, combined with Lopez's infectious energy, made this track a standout hit. It's a song that still echoes today, a reminder of the power of music in creating social change. The catchy chorus, "I'd hammer out danger, I'd hammer out warning," is one that stays with you long after the song is over. It's a powerful reminder that music can be more than just entertainment. It can be a force for good, a call to action. And in a world full of chaos, the hope that music offers is something we can never forget. From the heart of activism, our next song tones things down with a soothing jazzy groove. Number 6. Silly Love Songs, Paul McCartney and Wings. If there was one thing Paul McCartney knew how to do, it was write a love song. But in Silly Love Songs, he took the genre to a new level, offering a playful critique of the very concept of love songs themselves. Released in 1976, this track became an anthem for anyone who had ever been a bit skeptical of the over-romanticized world of love music. The song was filled with catchy hooks, witty lyrics, and McCartney's signature warmth. The self-awareness in the title itself, Silly Love Songs, was a clever commentary on how love songs had become a cliché, yet the song itself became one of the most enduring pop tracks of the 70s. McCartney delivered a cheeky wink to the world of love songs, showing that while they might be silly, they still have a powerful place in our hearts. The track's combination of orchestral arrangement, bass-driven funk, and McCartney's playful vocal delivery made it an instant classic. It climbed the charts and stayed at number 1 for several weeks, proving that McCartney had mastered the art of making something seemingly silly into a timeless piece of pop perfection. Number 5. Kiss and Say Goodbye, The Manhattans.
This has got to be the saddest day of my life.
Saying goodbye is never easy, and Kiss and Say Goodbye by the Manhattans perfectly covers the heartache of a breakup with unparalleled emotional depth. Released in 1976, this ballad became a massive hit and remains one of the most iconic soul tracks of the 70s. What makes this song stand out is the emotional delivery of the lyrics, paired with the smooth, rich vocal harmonies of the Manhattans. The song captures the bittersweet feelings of knowing a relationship is coming to an end, but still holding on to the love that once was. The dramatic build-up and heart-wrenching chorus brings out a deep emotional response from listeners. Kiss and Say Goodbye was a chart-topping hit that dominated the soul and R&B charts. It's one of those songs that you just feel in your bones, the type of track that makes you close your eyes, lost in the feelings it evokes. Did you know the song was written in just a few hours and recorded in a single take? This is simply proof that sometimes the best song comes from pure raw emotion. Number 4. Disco Lady, Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor's Disco Lady was the track that officially brought disco to mainstream R&B. Released in 1976, it became the first single by an African-American artist to reach the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. Taylor, known for his soulful voice, took a step into the world of disco with this funky groove that became an instant classic. What makes Disco Lady unforgettable is the way it straddles two worlds, soul and disco. It's soulful enough to make you sway and funky enough to keep you moving. The song blends rhythm and blues with that irresistible disco beat, creating something that both R&B lovers and disco enthusiasts could appreciate. The smooth groove, catchy chorus, and Taylor's unmistakable voice made it a favorite on both the dance floor and the radio. And let's talk about that groove, undeniably infectious. The track became a popular feature at discos across the world. But here's a fun fact, despite Taylor's long career, Disco Lady remains his signature song, defining him for generations of listeners. It's the perfect snapshot of where music was in the mid-70s, a time when soul and disco collided to create magic. Number 3. Golden Years, David Bowie. David Bowie was already an icon during this era, one who continuously reinvented himself. Golden Years was the perfect example of his ability to fuse glam rock, soul, and pop into a sound that felt entirely fresh. Released as a single from his album Station to Station, this track stood out as a testament to Bowie's ever-evolving style. What makes Golden Years stand out is the funky groove and smooth, soulful vocals. The song's catchy, almost hypnotic chorus, combined with a melody that's both sophisticated and carefree, gave listeners a new way to think about the future. It's a track that captures both the nostalgia and the optimism of the future, making it deeply resonant. Here's a fun nugget. Bowie had his musical influences all over this one, drawing on everything from funk to soul, yet still keeping his signature theatrical edge. Golden Years is one of those songs that perfectly captures the energy of mid-70s pop music, right as the glam rock movement was starting to give way to the next wave of pop and disco. It wasn't just about the music though. Bowie's image, his public persona, was as important as the tracks themselves. Golden Years wasn't just a song, it was an image, a statement, part of the Bowie legacy. Number 2. Afternoon Delight, Starland Vocal Band.
Gonna find my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna grab.
Starland Vocal Band's Afternoon Delight is one of those songs that lives on decades after its release. With its breezy, folksy vibe, this song, which tells a story of a midday romance, reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1976. But don't let its light, breezy tone fool you. Afternoon Delight was a clever, tongue-in-cheek exploration of romance and desire. The harmonies were rich, and the soft acoustic guitar lulls you into a sense of comfort, making you feel like you're hanging out on a lazy afternoon. What made it truly stand out was the unexpected contrast between the innocent-sounding lyrics and the more suggestive subtext. The song became both a pop hit and a cultural touchstone, as people everywhere sang along unaware of the cheeky innuendo. It was one of those rare songs that didn't just dominate the charts, it also became a part of pop culture, often referenced in TV shows and films. While the song has been classified as a guilty pleasure for some, it's undeniable that Afternoon Delight continues to put a smile on people's faces wherever it plays. Our top spot is a song so unforgettable, it changed the course of pop music forever. Drum roll, please. Number 1. Welcome Back, John Sebastian.
Welcome back.
Some songs have a way of transporting you back in time, wrapping you in the warm, familiar glow of nostalgia. John Sebastian's Welcome Back did exactly that. While it was written as the theme song for the hit sitcom Welcome Back, Kotter, the track quickly became a chart-topping song. At first glance, writing a theme song might seem like an unlikely path to a smash hit, but Sebastian turned what could have been a throwaway jingle into a soulful, heartfelt tune. The lyrics were crafted to welcome a wayward soul back to familiar territory, perfectly capturing the show's premise about a teacher returning to his Brooklyn roots. Yet the universal themes of reunion, redemption, and belonging made Welcome Back resonate with millions. Lines like "Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about" felt deeply personal to anyone who'd ever come home after a long journey, or simply longed to. Musically, the song stood out as a gentle acoustic gem in a year dominated by the high-energy pulse of disco and rock. Sebastian's breezy melody and soothing voice provided a calm reprieve, an audible sigh of relief in a busy world. The track's folk pop arrangement, with its laid-back strumming and simple yet poignant production, gave it an effortless charm that felt like catching up with an old friend over coffee. Welcome Back soared to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 in May 1976. It was a surprise hit, not just for its association with a beloved TV show, but for how it connected with people on a deeper emotional level. It wasn't just a song, it was an invitation to reflect, to appreciate the familiar, to embrace the idea of starting over. Years later, Welcome Back remains one of those rare TV-inspired tracks that took on a life of its own. It's more than a theme song, it's a love letter to the feeling of returning to the people and places that matter most. Whether you're revisiting old stomping grounds or reconnecting with a piece of yourself, this tune reminds us that there's something magical about coming home. What 1976 hit still gets your feet moving today? Drop your favorites in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to stay tuned for more iconic hits from the past.